I wanted to check out this movie. I like it when America does their own thing with giant monster movies. That's why I gave this film a shot. I knew Colossal was a low-budget film. It's not going to have lots of monster fights and stuff, but I heard the premise. It's a new idea, something original. How would the world deal with if monsters were real and being controlled by people? It's a cross between Godzilla and Ghostbusters in the dark comedy section. The idea sounds cool. The trailer made the film look cool, but it really didn't get to be fully satisfying. The movie's not bad. There's way more movies out there that are 100 times worse. It just couldn't get over 2 issues. Characters in the film, I thought they were good. If you like dysfunctional character plot lines, people hating each other, crappy lives, it delivers in that area. You can't really say anyone is a hero. All of them really do crappy things. Some go beyond crap, but no one's really redeemable. The dark comedy side hits the marks. There's no moment where the funny bits interrupt the dramatic moment. Some scenes, the music tries too hard to make them dramatic. It doesn't let Anna Hathaway act. Then again, maybe the music composer is trying to be funny for the film, but it doesn't come off as that. And I'm always stickler with movies keeping the rules with powerful abilities correct. It does a good job at being consistent, explaining to the audience fine. It's simple, you won't get lost, but it takes time, so it does give you a chance to figure things out on your own. That's not the part of the movie that's the problem. There's not enough movie to really hold you for nearly 2 hours. There's lots of times you think the movie is going to end, and then it keeps going. The film has a problem of not wanting to push things too far, even though it's rated R. It wants to stay a dark comedy, but moments in the film kind of make you think it's going to go into horror flick, but the characters stop abruptly, so you're not being invested in the story anymore. It's one of those movies where it's good and bad at the same time. The good of Colossal, the story follows Gloria, a very simple character. She grew up in a small town, got some ambitions, so she moved to New York City. Her ambitions never happened, so she developed problems. Excessive drinking, not reliable, lying all over the place.
Georgia wanted to go to the lodge. I didn't even want to go.
Who the f*** is Georgia?
Natasha.
So Tim eventually got fed up with her, basically throwing her out in his apartment. So she was forced to go back home. It gave her a chance to look at her life, sleeping on the floor of a family's house they owned but abandoned, where she met up with a childhood friend of hers, Oscar. Gloria, she's pretty messed up. She had friends come over to get drunk. The thing that made it worse, she knew the whole time it was wrong. She just didn't want to stop. If it wasn't for the monster stuff, this movie would be a slice of life film. You want to see Gloria get better, overcome her problems. Now, Oscar's known her from when she was a kid. Since some of her issues, even though she doesn't want to tell her anything, he pops up with an old TV. So they slowly remember their friendship, what they used to do, Oscar eventually offering her a job at his bar. We also get to meet a couple of other friends of Oscar's, Garth and Joel. Garth? He's okay. He's the audience POV character, and you get to know a little bit about his background later. But Joel, on the other hand, I'll get back to him later. What clicked with me was the more personal story the movie went with. You know, some people have screwed up lives. Sometimes you end up in crappy parts of your life. You don't know what to do with yourself. It explores all that. And the writer also tried really hard to cover a lot of the questions the audience would ask. With this type of movie, I'm that guy. How do the monsters work? What are the rules? How do regular people react in a situation like this? This isn't a superhero universe. It's not the norm. Yeah, I know. How does the monster stuff fit into the story? How do they deal with potential power of the monsters? I don't want to spoil the mystery of everything, but the monsters do have rules and very strict limitations. This, unfortunately, is the bad part of the film. On the good side, it helps the low-budget film. They can't do a lot of things. It's not going to be about cities being under attack, buildings blowing up, cool monster fights. They're in here, but for very brief moments. All the logical questions you naturally ask, like if Gloria has control of this monster, how come it doesn't appear wherever she is, or why does it only stay in Korea? Basically, the incident that gave her the powers is restricted to a limited area. If she enters this place, the monster appears and mimics her. The monsters in the film aren't alive. They're just a projection of what Gloria does with her body. Only these 2 points on Earth are links, so the monsters can only appear in this one location in Korea. Once Gloria leaves the zone, the monster vanishes as a puff of smoke. It's a cool idea. They picked Korea not just because of the whole Godzilla joke. Korea is on the other side of the planet, so it's always going to be nighttime while it's daytime in the US. You can hide poor CGI in the darkness, so those effects look a lot better. But this is also the problem with the movie and why people really didn't like it. It's not just about, I came to this movie to see monster fights. The rules of the monsters make the narrative suffer. We get the bits and pieces of the monster. Gloria puts it together. We even see the whole goofy bit with her dancing to prove to Oscar and his friends she's the one doing it. It goes flat because now what? You have all these rules. You can't spend the money. It goes back into the personal lives of the characters. Both sides of the story are fighting screen time. Then you have the second part of the story where we find out that Oscar also has the same power. When he steps into the zone, the monster that he projects is a giant robot. Now, Gloria is thinking about all the lives she accidentally killed, while we find out that Oscar is unstable. He was obsessed with Gloria when he was young, and when she came back, he wanted her to stay. This is where the monster fight stuff comes in and where the movie loses it. They want to do the horrible friendship story, but the writer holds it back. You start going, what the hell? The writing got stuck in a corner. They tried to deal with it, but the first thing I'm asking, hello? You have two friends right there to stop Oscar. They get Garth removed from the story in a good way, but the second friend, Joel, he kind of turns into a love interest for Gloria, even though Gloria didn't 100% end it with Tim. Joel does nothing. He stays quiet even after Oscar gets into Gloria's house and threatens her to go back to the monster zone or he'll kill more people just to make her stay. No one does the obvious things. No one calls the cops. No one tells anyone. The movie is desperately trying to ride on the whole, we can't do that. What are we going to say? We're the monsters?
Hi, I'm the robot, she's the monster.
Yes, Gloria, you do that. You have two options. First, Oscar hit you several times. There's your proof. Call the police, have him arrested, movie's over. Second option, expose the truth on YouTube. Just like how you showed the guys you were the monster. Record yourself doing it. Stream it live. Boom! It's all over. Granted, you'd probably be examined as a test subject. It'd be kind of an interesting way to have a window for a sequel, but at least people wouldn't be dying anymore. I know the movie wanted that big ending. The ending was cool, but there were many outs to get rid of Oscar before it escalated. That was my biggest gripe of the film. Now, this movie won't get a sequel. It's long forgotten at this point, but if they had gone in the direction of Gloria telling the truth on camera, that would have made more of a practical ending. Oscar goes to the park, wants to attack Gloria. Not to mention, Gloria can use the Korean army, because it was established they can feel the hits of rockets and weapons.
What the? Ow!
And the movie never does anything with that. Then the police would come to the site to arrest him, erect a 100-foot wall on the site so that Gloria and Oscar can't enter it, and if they somehow climb to the top, the monster would be floating in the sky, unable to hit buildings. The idea of a monster coming into existence from smoke and it's controlled by a person, I'd like to see this again. Half the film, I think, is good. The writing focused on what was best, the story. It had the right amount of monster in the film. It just flopped the landing. I still say check it out, but keep your expectations very low. Maybe another movie in the future could get these ideas to work. Thanks for checking out the review. Subscribe if you want to see more, and if you remember a movie or a show that's long been forgotten, good or bad, leave it as a suggestion below. I'm always on the lookout for obscured stuff.